Hey guys and welcome. This is the starting grid and this week we have the Austrian Grand Prix. I don't know about you, but I have barely finished processing that epic Silverstone Grand Prix. It had everything we asked for. Us F1 fans literally were given what we've asked for the last 5 years with a cherry on top. It was epic. And now we're off to the next one. The Austrian Grand Prix at the RedBull Ring and a sprint race. Insane. So it's the RedBull Ring and it's in the name, isn't it? Red Bull are going to want to win this one. Max especially going to want to win this one after a disappointing race last week. He did not like getting booed and, well, this week, no chance. He's got the Orange Army behind him and they'll be willing him on for the win. So this week, Pirelli's brought out the three softest compounds, the C3, C4 and C5. A good way to look at it is this week's hardest tyre, the C3, was the softest tyre used back in Silverstone. If you enjoy what you're seeing, like and subscribe. Best way to grow the channel and get more content like this on YouTube. 3 DRS zones on the 4.3 kilometer track. Alright, it feels like it's a bit of overkill. Look at last week at Silverstone, the cars were following brilliantly. Crazy racing, and it wasn't all just DRS passes, so I'm not sure it's needed. That being said, we do have a sprint race and it's the perfect thing for that, so it could be really good. What's your thoughts? Put them down in the comments, let me know. And as I mentioned before, we have a sprint race this weekend, so the second one of the year, and it's going to be great. Couple that with the softest tyres in the range, it's going to be amazing. So we have, I like to think of them as the hypersofts from back in the day. Teams going all out, high risk, high reward potentially. These sprint races are actually much more important than they used to be. Points rewarded all the way down to 8th place, with the winner taking 8 points, which is actually a pretty good haul. However, you need to keep in mind that the sprint race also sets the grid for the main Grand Prix on Sunday. So if you do well, yeah, you'll get 8 points and also start on pole for the main Grand Prix. However, if you crash out, it is a double whammy. You're not going to score any points in the sprint, and you're going to start at the back of the grid for the main Grand Prix. So the teams are going to have to judge how attacking they want to be versus the risk and reward. Maybe some of the midfield and smaller teams are going to go all out, where the bigger teams are going to say, hey, let's live to fight for Sunday. Pretty high chance of a safety car this weekend. We've had one the last 4 times we visited this track, so I wouldn't be too surprised at a 5th. Obviously, races can be won or lost under the safety car, and with a bit of good fortune, if you time your pit stop just right or wait it out, you could get yourself way up in the position or potentially on a podium. Another thing everyone wants to avoid this weekend is any penalties. We don't want a repeat of last year. Yeah, it's the gravel traps on the edges. They're pretty unforgiving. So there was some pretty hard racing last year. Some drivers pushed others beyond the limit, some would say. Good clean racing, others would say. It's hard to judge, but the stewards thought it was too much. Quite a few 5-second penalties were given out. Perez got 2. So let's see what happens this year. It's been 2 decades since Ferrari's won at this track. I mean, now they got a competitive car. They're going to do everything they can to try and win here. Leclerc, he got shafted last week. Let's be realistic. The team should have pitted both drivers. They chose to only pit Carlos, and that cost Leclerc any chance of victory. So they really messed him over. Rumour is that the two sides of the garage have been fighting since that, and the drivers at least do seem still to be on good terms. However, they cannot afford to be fighting on track, because at least when Hamilton and Rosberg were fighting, it was always going to be a Mercedes winner of the championship. You can't be fighting each other and also fighting the Red Bulls. You're never going to win. So that would just play straight into Max and Perez's hands. Mercedes, are they back? Well, that is a very tough question to answer, and I'll have a video on that specific topic itself later. However, the reality is nobody knows if Mercedes are back. I don't think Mercedes know if they're back. They need to do it back to back and have two good races to really be able to tell. There were some promising signs. For example, Lewis was constantly pulling in fastest lap. He's able to go toe to toe with the Ferraris. However, that being said, Leclerc did have front wing damage, and Max he had a really busted up car, so may not be the full picture. However, it was amazing seeing Lewis back on it. So fresh controversy. Ferrari and Red Bull have been accused of having a floor which is too flexible. This brings back flexi wing vibes. Who knows? Hasn't necessarily been proven and is still very much in the rumour phase, but it could have big implications, especially for Red Bull, who somehow seem to have avoided any porpoising. This could be one of the reasons why. It could have big implications in the championship. And the midfield, absolutely amazing, super competitive. Last week, Lando was rapid in the McLaren, however didn't have the ultimate pace to actually challenge for the podium positions. On the other hand, Daniel was way off the pace and he was just not in the race at all. It's becoming a problem, isn't it? I don't know how much longer this could continue, and I don't know what the solution is. What do you guys think? What's going to be the solution or story of Daniel Ricciardo? Throw into the mix Aston Martin, Alpine and AlphaTauri, and we have an amazing race on our hands, guys. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Finally, who is going to win this race? Who do you have? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you next video after the race.